Watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Glimmer of hope for the Middle East as Israel accepts framework deal for winding down the Gaza conflict. US advocated three-phase plan entails a truce and return of hostages. Mexico's ruling party declares Sheinbaum winner of presidential vote. PM Narendra Modi says Bharat's strength as a youthful nation is an opportunity from which we must not look back, stresses the need to make several changes to move forward in the global scenario. Markets give a huge thumbs up for the exit poll predictions of return of BJP at helm. Sensex soars 2,600 points. Nifty tops 23,300 in pre-trade on Monday. Counting of votes starts 8 a.m. tomorrow, that is Tuesday. And in football, 15-time champions Real Madrid presents the Champions League trophy to an ecstatic crowd at the Spanish capital city centre on Sunday. Well, on to the details now. India's Election Commission has issued handbook to poll officials ahead of the counting of votes of recently held general elections. The counting of votes for the general election and the state legislative assemblies of Andhra Pradesh and Odisha and by-elections to assembly constituencies shall be held on the 4th of June starting at 8 a.m. IST. India's Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar along with the two election commissioners had reviewed the counting day preparations with all chief electoral officers and returning officers. The counting trends and results as per data entered by RO and ARO for assembly constituencies and parliamentary constituencies will be available on the ECI website as well as on the Voter Helpline app, both iOS and Android mobile apps. The Voter Helpline app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store. The poll body has also issued a handbook for returning officers and counting agents available on the ECI website. And the Election Commission of India has ordered re-polls at one polling station each in the Varanasi and Mathurapur constituencies for general elections. In the eastern coastal state of West Bengal, the fresh polling will be held on the June 3rd from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Earlier, voting took place at these stations on the 1st of June. Meanwhile, also India's Election Commission has provided central forces to prevent any post-poll violence based on assessment provided by the states and the central observers. Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal have been provided with security forces for 15 days after the counting day. Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh have also been provided security forces till 2 days after the counting day. And the German Foreign Office has congratulated Indians for successfully conducting the world's largest democratic elections. It said that Germany is looking forward to working with India's new government and taking cooperation to the next level. In a post on X, the German Foreign Office stated, and I quote, "Congratulations to the Indian people for successfully concluding the world's largest democratic elections. We are looking forward to working with India's new government and to taking our cooperation with India to the next level," unquote. Also, Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Maitama Taggar on Sunday also congratulated the people of India and the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar for exemplifying their status as the world's bastion of democracy. In a post on X, Yusuf Maitama Taggar stated, and I quote, "Congratulations to the people of India and Dr. S. Shankar for exemplifying their status as the world's bastion of democracy. This historic election, which lasted 44 days, was the largest ever in history, with more than 968 million eligible voters out of a population of 1.4 billion. As the largest democracy in Africa, we join you in championing democracy, which is a key pillar of our 4Ds foreign policy agenda. Congratulations once again on a successful electoral season," unquote. And moving on to southern state of Tamil Nadu, though exit polls have unanimously predicted a thumping victory for the DMK alliance, but not a clean sweep, as has been consistently asserted by the indie bloc leaders of the state. The polls have also predicted the BJP making significant inroads into Tamil Nadu and Dravidian major AIADMK getting pushed to the third spot. And in Maharashtra, winning predictions are divided on a performance of the ruling Mahayuti compared to the MVA in the state. Exit polls have predicted that the BJP-led NDA may not secure the 41 Lok Sabha seats it won in Maharashtra in 2019. The NDA is confident of winning 4 out of 6 seats in Mumbai, while the India bloc has refrained from commenting on the exit polls. And the BJP is heading towards a hat-trick in Gujarat, as all the exit polls are predicting clean sweep. All 26 seats in the state, all the 26 seats in the state went to the polls in a single phase on the 7th of May. Gujarat is the bastion of Bharatiya Janata Party. The party's dominance in Gujarat was re-established in 2019 when it managed to win all 26 seats for the second consecutive time. This time, BJP dropped 5 sitting MPs, highlighting a strategic shift. Up your screens, we have exit polls put NDA on the top. We have the figures there, which the exit polls are clearly mentioning. Gujarat is the bastion of Bharatiya Janata Party, and it is clearly showing a hat trick for BJP this time. And now we have Anibrata Bhattacharya from Kolkata, we have Ajay Joy from Trivandrum and Deepika from Varanasi joining us on the exit polls. Well, good morning to all of you. My first question to you, Anibrata. BJP ahead of Trinamool in West Bengal predicts the exit polls. After the BJP's astounding performance in West Bengal in 2019 also, the party is set to do even better this time. What's the status?
Yeah, Lepakshia, you have rightly said, because as the exit poll is showing that the BJP will be ahead of Trinamool Congress. It will be, large win of BJP if it happens to take place, because we have found in the 2014 BJP had only 2 seats. Thereafter, it was spiraling rise we witnessed in 2019 Lok Sabha election, where they registered 18 seats. And if this time, what the exit poll is predicting, if it transfers to B, if they happens to cross, 25 states, then it will indeed create a history, history for the BJP, because they are the largest opposition party now. Because in assembly, you find that the BJP is having, the last time in the assembly election, they got, 75 seats, and they emerged as the main opposition party in West Bengal. So if this Lok Sabha election, if we find that the BJP surpasses Trinamool Congress, then it will really create history, and it will be a large boost to the BJP, because they are aspiring to be in power in the next assembly election. So everyone, those who are the BJP minded, and particularly the BJP workers here, they are jubilant with the thing that is shown in the exit poll. But Trinamool is, they are nullifying all these things, because this is a conspiracy that they are trying to, dampen the morals of the, opposition party.
All right. Next question to you, Deepika. Prime Minister to do a hat-trick from Varanasi Lok Sabha seat as per the exit polls. You've been there for a while. What is the level of excitement there?
Good morning, Lipakshi. First of all, let me quickly show you the visuals. I am outside the counting center where the counting will take place from tomorrow onwards. I would request the camera person to pan and show that how the security arrangements have been made here in Varanasi. You can see all the police officials who've been deputed here, and this is the checkpoint 24 hours before the counting begins. You can see the checkpoints. Not even the DM, the district magistrate, is allowed to go inside without the pass, and the media has been completely banned from going inside 24 hours before. However, from tomorrow onwards, everybody would be allowed with a particular pass. The security arrangement has been made. The security that you can see behind me is the external security. There is another lane of security inside the counting center. So this is how the security has been tightened up 24 hours before, and they've been sitting since yesterday night. Not only this, you can see behind me that adequate arrangements have also been made far across from this place. A fire brigade is also being placed in case of any exigency. So the entire protocol is being followed up outside the counting center. Now coming on to the exit poll, when we talk about the exit poll of the entire UP, the exit poll says that the BJP is going to win around 68 to 71 seats out of the 80 seats of UP. UP is a very key state when we talk about deciding the parliament and the party's domination, whosoever wins. And last time in 2019, the BJP won somewhere around 65 seats. This time again, the BJP is going to have a very good record from here, and we've seen a very good voting percentage also, and thanks to Election Commission of India. And if you would have seen that Election Commission of India has released a note in every newspaper today thanking all the voters, the media persons and everyone for participating in this festival of democracy. And
yes,
the exit poll also now depicts a clean sweep for Bharatiya Janata Party. There are few seats which are painful areas for Bharatiya Janata Party, like Mainpuri, Kannauj, which is dominated by Akhilesh Yadav and Dimple Yadav. Apart from that, Azamgarh is there. It remains to be seen what happens on these particular seats, but if we delete these seats from the entire domination ratio, BJP is as per the exit poll dominating the UP as well this time, Lipakshi.
All right. My next question to you, Ajay. Exit polls there also have predicted that BJP will open its Lok Sabha account in Kerala. Who has the edge in the battle there?
Actually, traditionally, historically, for the Lok Sabha elections, Congress always had the upper hand in Kerala. Even if for the state assembly elections, left is voted to power. But in any Lok Sabha, except for 2004, all these elections have proven that Congress has an upper hand, always. But the exit polls, what it describes this time, will be a kind of seismic change in political scenario of Kerala. The political equations are going to be redrawn if the predictions are going to correct. Especially if I take the Axis My India vote share prediction, it shows 41% for UDF, 29% for LDF and 27% for NDA. That means just 2% of vote share separating NDA and LDF. That will be the most seismic event ever happening in the political history of Kerala. Because throughout their calculations, BJP has always been hoping for just crossing the 20% Rubicon. Once 20% vote share is crossed, then they believe that the allies will come to NDA on their own, rather than BJP cajoling anyone to come to their side. But anyhow, as per the Axis My India survey, 17 to 18 they predict for UDF, and only 0 to 1 seat for LDF, and for BJP they predict 2 to 3. So in most conservative estimates of BJP earlier, they were hopeful, emphatic about just 2 seats. But now the third one has come into the radar. So their camp is absolutely on a high right now. But LDF is on complete denial of the exit polls, telling that in their conservative estimates, which is prepared from the booth level onwards, they have a winning chance in 8 to 10 seats at least. So LDF is on a complete denial. UDF is, on other hand, is on a mixed side, I must say. Because at the state level, they would like to have the exit poll come true, but at the national level, they would try to rubbish whatever results that come out of the exit poll.
Right. Also, Ajay, if I may ask you, how is the general mood there? Because we are just hardly 24 hours away from the election results.
general mood seems to be divided based upon the political loyalties. Let me put it very straight. If you go to a public event, they will, because in Kerala, you know, it's a little more political society, I must say, with strong convictions about their side, ideologically more convicted, more conviction is there. So if you go to a public, to a crowd, and then they will be squarely divided to analyze, while analyzing the exit polls. But anyhow, one thing we should say, BJP is on a rise right now. They have a general acceptability which was never there in 2004. In 2004, at least in Thiruvananthapuram, they had a very fighting chance. They lost Thiruvananthapuram Lok Sabha constituencies just by 2014 election. Sorry, 2014 election, they lost only by 15,000. So they had a very fighting chance that time. But after that, they lost the edge because of a Rahul wave. I must say, in 2019, when Rahul Gandhi opted to contest from Kerala, there was a kind of Rahul wave throughout Kerala. But this time also, it seems to be that Congress is on the have the upper hand in Kerala, but BJP is on a definitely on a rise.
Okay. My next question to you, Anibrata. How is the general mood there in West Bengal after the exit polls? As now, of course, the results are just 24 hours away.
Yeah, Lepakshi, as you know, it's hard to assess because earlier we found that the left parties were, 34 years in the power in West Bengal. But this time, what we found from the very beginning, as the exit poll is coming, it shows that what the prediction was there is going to be true. And if it happens to be that BJP be ahead of Trinamool Congress, this will be the first time in West Bengal because this time somehow or other the image of the Trinamool Congress is smeared in the sense because there is no, these employment related issues, SSC scam was there and, PDS scam was there. So people were aghast about all these things because they don't like that it's a very noble areas, So if somehow this is inked with this sorts of these malpractices, it certainly dampens the people's mind. So the high hope was there that BJP will dominate this time. So it is what we find that this is certainly going to be true, and if the exit poll is taken into account. Now we have to wait what is the final outcome for happens to come. That we have to wait for another few more hours. So when the counting will take place tomorrow. Today, as you know, the repolling is being held in each of two constituencies in Barasat and in Mathurapur, where some malpractices were there, and BJP also demanded a repoll in the Diamond Harbour Lok Sabha constituencies in several booths, but that was not done. Only two booths. The repoll is being held. That is in Barasat and in Mathurapur.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Anibrata, Ajay and Deepika, for giving us all that update from your respective places. And now, still to come on DD India News Hour. Assam Rifles organised medical camp in Imphal, Manipur after incessant rainfall amid cyclone Remal has caused massive flooding across the northeastern states. Fire engulfs forests of Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri scorches thousands of acres. Telangana celebrated a decade of its formation day on Sunday.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khuranan. Moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his new resolve after his 45-hour-long meditation in Kanyakumari concluded. He exhorted citizens to dedicate the next 25 years solely for the nation. He said everyone's efforts will create a strong foundation for the coming generations and the coming centuries, taking Bharat to new heights. Explaining the roadmap for the coming years, Prime Minister said the development trajectory of India fills us with pride and glory, but at the same time, it also reminds the 140 crore citizens of their responsibilities. Now, without wasting a single moment, Indians must step forward towards greater duties and larger goals. PM added that the world of the 21st century is looking towards Bharat with many hopes and said that Indians will need to make several changes to move forward in the global scenario. He also said that we need to change traditional thinking regarding reforms. He added that India cannot limit reform to just economic reforms and must move forward in every aspect of life towards the direction of reform. PM further said that our reforms should also align with the aspirations of a Viksit Bharat, which has developed India by 2047. PM said we need to dream new dreams, convert them into reality and begin living those dreams. Prime Minister said Bharat's governance model has become an example for many countries around the world. He said that India's progress and rise are not just a significant opportunity for Bharat alone, but also a historic opportunity for all our partner countries around the world. The world has been increasingly envisioning a bigger role for Bharat. He wrote that Bharat is being acknowledged as a strong and important voice of the global south. The African Union has become a part of the G20 group at the initiative of Bharat. He said we must see Bharat's development in a global context, and for this, it is essential that we understand Bharat's internal capabilities. He stressed that all must acknowledge Bharat's strengths, nurture them and utilize them for the benefit of the world. PM said that in today's global scenario, Bharat's strength as a youthful nation is an opportunity from which we must not look back. He added that we must make excellence the fundamental principle to make our country a Viksit Bharat and work quickly in all four directions, that are speed, scale, scope and standards, and adhere to the mantra of zero defect, zero effect. And Chinese daily tabloid, the Global Times, has covered the predictions of several exit polls by Indian media outlets. In an article, the publication says that if India can work together with China in the next term of the Prime Minister, it could pave the way for improvements in the relationship between the two countries, the article said. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to win a third consecutive term in office. Chinese experts noted that Modi's overall domestic and foreign policies will maintain continuity. PM is expected to persist in his efforts to bolster the country's economic growth. Analysts emphasize the importance of India collaborating with China to uphold open communication to address differences in the bilateral relations. Modi will continue to focus on propelling the country toward becoming the world's third largest economy. Additionally, Modi's strategic approach includes enhancing India's global influence through diplomatic channels. Regarding China-India relations, the possibility of a strengthened confrontation between China and India unlikely if Modi wins. The Chinese side has been committed to actively enhancing relations with India, believing that maintaining stable bilateral relations are in the interest of both sides. It also said it is imperative for India to uphold a strategic perspective towards China-India relations and collaborate with China to resolve differences through dialogue and communication. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Incessant rainfall amid Cyclone Ramal has caused massive flooding across the northeastern states, including Manipur. Rescue efforts continue to clean waterlogged areas. Manipur's fire service teams have begun work to declog obstructions and restore the flow of the Naga River at North AOC Imphal. In a unique tribute to commemorate the 25th Kargil Vijay Divas, the Tiger Hill Brigade organized a human library event featuring Kargil war heroes. This innovative event aimed to honor the brave soldiers who fought in the Kargil war and to educate the public about their experiences and sacrifices. As the temperature rises, the incidents of forest fire increase in the different forest areas of Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri. Incidents of forest fire in the areas in Forest Division of J&K have been on the rise this summer season as soaring temperatures continue to grip the region. 2 dead, 18 injured after a bus overturned near Kalith village of Jammu. Emergency responders quickly arrived at the scene to assist the victims. The injured were initially taken to the sub-district hospital in Akhnur for treatment. In a tragic incident in Hyderabad, more than 6 people were injured after being hit by an uncontrolled DCM. Emergency services rushed to the scene and the injured were quickly admitted to a nearby hospital for treatment. On Sunday, Telangana celebrated its Formation Day. The celebrations in Hyderabad this year were grand, featuring various cultural performances, parades and fireworks. The celebrations reflected the rich cultural heritage of Telangana and the spirit of its people. A rare species of fish came up in the net of a person in Karimganj district while fishing in the flood waters. The unusual fish, which features 4 eyes and a long spine, has piqued the interest of local residents and scientists alike. Experts are now examining the fish to identify its species and understand its origins. Hundreds and thousands of pilgrims visited Kedarnath Dham on Sunday. Uttarakhand's government states that since the opening of the temple doors, more than 600,000 of pilgrims have visited Kedarnath Dham, celebrating India's most popular pilgrimage. And still to come on DD India News Now. Overnight shooting in Akron in Ohio, at least 1 person was killed and 25 others injured. North Korea to stop sending trash balloons to South with warnings in place.
After a grueling campaign, after exhausting polling spanning 7 phases, the stage is set for the counting day, the grand finale of the largest electoral exercise ever. DD India is all decked up and ready, counting of votes for India's general elections. Accurate and fast results, in-depth analysis with experts and reporters everywhere. Only on DD India, 4th June, 6 AM onwards.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Vipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Glimmer of hope for the Middle East as Israel accepts framework deal for winding down the Gaza conflict. US advocated three-phase plan entails a truce and return of hostages. Mexico's ruling party declares Sheinbaum winner of presidential vote. PM Narendra Modi says Bharat's strength as a youthful nation is an opportunity from which we must not look back, stresses the need to make several changes to move forward in the global scenario. Markets give a huge thumbs up for the exit poll predictions of return of BJP at helm. Sensex soars 2,600 points, Nifty tops 23,300 in pre-trade on Monday. Counting of votes starts 8 a.m. on Tuesday. And in football, 15-time champions Real Madrid presents the Champions League trophy to an ecstatic crowd in the Spanish capital city centre on Sunday. And moving on, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held separate phone calls with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and Benny Gantz, who joined Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in an emergency coalition to discuss a proposed ceasefire deal in Gaza. The calls came as an aide to Netanyahu said that Israel had accepted the deal that has been touted by President Joe Biden. In an interview, Ofer Falk, chief foreign policy advisor to Netanyahu, said that the plan was not a good deal, but Israel has accepted it. He added that Israel's conditions, including the release of the hostages and Hamas destruction, have not changed. Last week, Biden presented Israel's three-phase plan to end the conflict. Well, a drone launched by Lebanon's Hezbollah fell in the Israeli coastal city of Neharia, causing a fire but no injuries. Air raid sirens had sent the city's 75,000 residents running for shelter after a day of continuous rocket fire from Lebanon at northern Israel. The Israeli military said it had responded throughout the day by striking Hezbollah targets. And in the United States, former President Donald Trump said he would accept home confinement or jail time after his historic conviction by a New York jury last week, but that it would be tough for the public to accept. Trump is scheduled to be sentenced on July 11th, 4 days before Republicans gather to formally choose their presidential nominee to face Democratic President Joe Biden in November's election. He has vowed to appeal his conviction by the New York jury, which found him guilty of 34 felony counts over falsifying documents to cover up a payment to silence an adult star ahead of the 2016 election. Trump has used his conviction to step up his fundraising efforts. In an interview to a news channel, Republican presidential candidate said at a certain point, there will be a breaking point, though Trump did not elaborate on what he thought might happen if that point is reached.
I saw one of my lawyers the other day on television saying, oh no, you don't want to do that to the president. I said, you don't beg for anything, you just the way it is. I don't know that the public would stand it, I'm not sure the public would stand for it. I think it would be tough for the public to take. At a certain point there's a breaking point.
And moving on, Mexico has made history by electing its first woman president in the country's largest election ever. Claudia Sheinbaum, the former mayor of Mexico City, has won the presidency by a strong majority. The country saw its most historic election as for the first time in the country's history, 2 women led the polls. Sheinbaum's opposition, Jotilly Galvez, is an opposition senator and tech entrepreneur. Amid the historic polls, 2 people were killed in violence at polling centers on Sunday. Voting was suspended at one polling center after a person was killed in a shooting in Coyomipan, a town in the state of Puebla. Mexico's largest ever elections have also been the most violent in modern history, with the killing of 38 candidates. Sheinbaum, who has won the majority over her main competitor, Xochitl Galvez, is now tasked with confronting organized crime violence. A victory for Sheinbaum represents a major step for Mexico. The winner is set to begin a 6-year term on the 1st of October this year. And Serbia's ruling party defeated the opposition on Sunday in a vote for Belgrade City Council and partial local elections across the country, marked by scuffles between opposition supporters and those of the populist President Alexander Vučić. According to an unofficial vote count by the pollster SESED, the alliance led by Serbian Progressive Party, loyal to Vučić, won 52.9% of votes in the capital city. The Kreni Promeni centre-right movement, led by lawyer Savo Manojlovic, came second with 17.2%. The leftist Green Biram Beograd was third with 12.5%. And shifting focus, the 21st edition of Shangri-La Dialogue draws to a close in Singapore on Sunday. Participants held discussion on a number of pressing security issues, including conflict in Ukraine, Taiwan tensions, and China's threat in the Indo-Pacific. Take a look.
Asia's premier security summit Shangri-La Dialogue brought together decision makers from across the Asia-Pacific, North America, Europe, and the Middle East. Key regional security issues, including Ukraine conflict, China's threat in the Asia-Pacific, tension in Taiwan, among others, dominated the agenda at the summit. At the summit, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin worked to refocus attention on China's threat in the Asia-Pacific.
And America will continue to play a vital role in the Indo-Pacific. Together with our friends across the region that we share. In the United States, across the United States government, across our political landscape, you'll find a strong and bipartisan commitment to the Indo-Pacific.
Austin's remarks triggered a reaction from China. Beijing said U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy was intended to create division, provoke confrontation, and undermine stability. Japan's Defense Minister Minoru Kihara too expressed concerns over the situation in the Indo-Pacific region. The summit was also addressed by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky thanked countries including the United States, Germany, and the Netherlands for their military assistance. He informed the participants about the upcoming peace summit in Switzerland in mid-June.
More than 100 countries and international organizations have confirmed their participation in the summit for today. At the first summit, we will address 3 points of the peace formula: nuclear security, food security, and the release of prisoners of war. And of course, the Ukrainian children abducted by Russia.
Zelensky also held a bilateral meeting with other leaders. He met with the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and the Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. Zelensky also met Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong after he addressed the last day of the Shangri-La Dialogue Forum. Other bilateral meetings at the summit included U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's meeting with his South Korean counterpart Shin Won-sik on Sunday, and his meeting with Japanese Defense Minister Minoru Kihara. Austin also held a trilateral meeting with Japanese Defense Minister Kihara and South Korean Defense Minister Shin Won-sik on the sidelines of the summit in Singapore. Tensions in Taiwan Strait also came up for discussions during Shangri-La Dialogue. The Chinese Defense Minister reiterated China's stance on Taiwan.
The current situation in Taiwan Strait is severe. Figures like Lai Ching-te have shamelessly forgotten their roots and proclaimed the two-state theory, attempting to seek independence by relying on external forces and resorting to military means.
Shangri-La Dialogue is organized by the London-based International Institute of Strategic Studies. It is a unique platform for debate on developing security challenges. Fuzel Ahmed's report for DD India.
Well, moving on, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met his Filipino counterpart Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in Manila. Zelensky also announced that Ukraine will open its embassy in the Philippines. Also, Zelensky traveled to Manila from Singapore, where he made an unscheduled appearance at the Shangri-La Dialogue Conference. This is his second visit to Asia since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine conflict in 2022. He also called on Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. And Iran's hardliner, former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, has registered to run for president in the upcoming election on the June 28th. The election organized after the death of Ibrahim Raisi in a helicopter crash last month. Ahmadinejad previously served 2 four-year terms from 2005 to 2013. Under Iranian law, he became eligible to run again after 4 years out of office, but he remains a polarizing figure even among fellow hardliners. Iran's present culture and Islamic guidance minister Mohammad Ismaili and former lawmaker Mahmoud Sadeghi have also registered for presidential election on Sunday. And in South Africa, African National Congress lost its outright majority for the first time in 30 years after the final results were announced on Sunday. And President Cyril Ramaphosa called on his country's political parties to work together for the good of the country. The result is the worst election showing for the ANC, Africa's oldest liberation movement, once led by Nelson Mandela, ending white minority rule. Voters, angry at joblessness, inequality and rolling blackouts, slashed support for the ANC to 40.2%, down from 57.5% in the previous 2019 parliamentary vote. Political parties now have 2 weeks to work out a deal before the new parliament sits in to choose a president who would likely still hail from the ANC, since it remains the biggest force. Though on Sunday, Ramaphosa said that the election result was a victory for democracy.
Thank you very much to all of you. The final announcement of the 2024 national and provincial election results today in many ways represents a victory for our democracy as South Africans. It also represents a victory of our constitutional order, but more importantly, it represents a victory for all the people of South Africa. We have held another successful election that has been free, fair, credible, and peaceful.
While moving on, Boeing and NASA have said that their teams are preparing to launch the new Starliner space capsule on the 5th of June after scrubbing its inaugural test flight launch attempt on Saturday. The Starliner capsule had stood ready for blast-off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on Saturday before a ground system computer triggered an automatic abort command that shut down the launch sequence. Once launched, the Starliner is expected to arrive at the space station after a flight of about 24 hours and dock with the orbiting research outpost, some 250 miles above the Earth. And South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has given the green light to conduct exploratory drilling for potentially vast oil and gas prospects found off the east coast of the country that is one of the world's largest energy importers. The possibility of the reserves containing as much as 14 billion barrels of oil and gas are very high. Addressing a press conference, Yoon cited a study and said it has been reviewed by experts and industry groups. Yoon approved the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy to go ahead with the drilling for exploration in the deep sea in the East Sea. And Australia's independent wage-setting body on Monday raised the national minimum wage by 3.75%, largely in line with inflation as families tackle soaring living costs. The minimum rate will rise to 24.10 Australian dollar per hour from 1st of July, resulting in an extra $33 per week for about a fifth of the Australian workforce. There are about 2.6 million employees in Australia. Australian consumer price inflation rose at an annual price of 3.6% in April, the highest level in 5 months, adding to risk the next move in interest rates might be upward. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. At least one person was killed and 25 others were injured in an overnight shooting in Akron in Ohio. A firearm and several dozen shell casings were recovered at the scene, local media reported. The police have not yet provided any information about the victims or the suspect. Media tycoon Rupert Murdoch has married for the 5th time at age 93, trying the knot with a retired molecular biologist. Murdoch and Alina Zhukova were wedded on Saturday in California. An old apartment building collapsed in the Turkish city of Istanbul on Sunday, killing one person and injuring 8, authorities said. The cause of the collapse is not clear yet and further details are awaited. North Korea on Sunday said it would stop sending balloons carrying trash over the border to South Korea. However, the practice would be resumed if anti-North Korean leaflets are flown over again from the south. North Korea had sent 15 tons of trash using 30,500 balloons. South Korea said it would take measures against the north. Workers in Tokyo cleaned a stone pillar at the entrance to the Yasukuni on Saturday after someone spray painting the word toilet on it. The shrine honors Japan's war dead, including 14 World War II leaders convicted by an Allied tribunal as Class A war criminals. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Severe monsoon lashes Sri Lanka, thousands stranded, Army, Air Force mobilized for the rescue efforts. We'll also give you weather updates from Italy's floods to USA's wildfires. And West Indies gets off to a winning start in ICC Men's T20 World Cup on Sunday.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana and on to some business news now. Exit polls of India's general election have propelled Indian stock market to record high. BSE Sensex touched a new high, breaching the 76,700 mark as markets opened on Monday morning. Sensex opened in green with a high of 2,000 points, while Gift Nifty was recorded up by 800 points, above 23,500 for the first time ever. And Shama Mishra joins us from Mumbai on this. Well, Shama, a lot of records breaking there. Stock market reached positively today based on exit poll results showing NDA majority completely. What's the status right now?
Well, Lipakshi, we understand that the markets was, pecking on this point. That exit polls will show a clear number. However, we will have to wait for 4th June for the exact results. But right now, markets are living in the euphoria, and the surge, particularly surge, right now what you're seeing would be more or less a sustained surge. And in coming days, it will be more of a calculated and a strategic, surge that we will witness. Right now, we are talking about the exit polls, and they have showcased that the NDA is getting more or less 350, and this is the number which is required for the government to form the government for the third time. That means more continuity, more stability in the policies and reforms, and that is what is giving the market experts, giving the industry, giving the markets a boost of a satisfaction and a clear understanding that more development is on its way. We are also talking about sectors which is particularly related to India. We have always been speaking about how our Indian markets mirror the international markets, and when the international markets are not in a positive or not in a green zone, our Indian markets also mirror that. But right now we are clearly basking in the glory of the exit polls and domestic factors, what we are mentioning about the government forming the government for the third time. So we are talking about more number of reforms, more number of investments coming in diversified sectors. And when we're talking about these sectors, Lipakshi, we understand that infrastructure, electric vehicles, PSUs, all these sectors are some of the sectors which will see a growth, a substantial growth in coming days. And we are also talking about historical landmarks, which will be the 4th June when the results would be out, and also the markets would be keenly watching the next historical landmark, that would be the swearing in ceremony, and what all ministers swear in in the days to come. So the markets are pretty sure that next 5 years is something that they will see for more development, for more reforms and more continuity.
All right. Also, Sharma, as the market reacts positively to the upcoming budget, what is the belief for the market participants to the prediction of the third term for the Prime Minister?
All the market experts we have been speaking to, they are clearly on the fact that the Prime Minister has also given another vision. That means even the government, even Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he is certain that there will be a third term. And when the third term comes, we will see more number of reforms, because of late in the last 2 terms we have seen a majority of reforms that India was really waiting for, and these all actually push the infrastructure or the railways, or everywhere where the development was required, where the infrastructural or the investment push was required. So now the experts and industry players are believing that there will be more emphasis laid on various sectors that we are talking about, and EV is going to be one of them, because we are understanding that there's a huge infrastructure being built for processing and giving more boost to the electrical vehicles, because India is also marching towards net zero target, and the government is also very keen on we have always been talking about how lifestyle for environment life is something which is India is actually giving it to the world. This mantra is given to the entire world. So there are a lot of factors, there are a lot of emphasis that the government will be laying, and as I've mentioned that there is a lot of continuity expected. So the big reforms that are already in place, and not just for the industry we are talking about, this is also for the women, for the poor, for the rural people, for the farmers. All these people are the recipients of the better reforms that the government have put in place, and there'll be more continuity when the government comes in for the third time, and for the next 5 years it will be stable, and more number of positive developments.
All right, Sharma, thank you so much for that update from there. And when we're moving on to some weather updates now, 2 bodies were recovered from Italy's Natisone River on Sunday after it was flooded. 3 people went missing on Friday after water levels began to rise unexpectedly due to heavy rainfall in the area. The local fire department led extensive operations. Search and rescue efforts were underway for the third-person currents. Also, severe monsoon over the weekend in Sri Lanka caused widespread devastation across the island, claiming at least 15 lives and leaving more than 19,000 people stranded. Torrential rains exceeding 300 mm have led to flash floods, uprooted trees, strong winds, lightning and landslides. The Sri Lankan Army and Air Force have been for rescue operations. Schools have been closed in several areas till Monday. Electricity have also been suspended as a precautionary measure. Red notices for landslides have also been issued in 4 districts. Well, you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. Real Madrid players presented the Champions League trophy to an ecstatic crowd in the Spanish capital city centre on Sunday. Thousands of fans flocked to Cibeles Square to cheer Captain Nacho as he hung a club scarf on the statue of goddess Cybele. Los Biancos added another chapter to their already astonishing love affair with European soccer's elite club trophy by claiming a 2-0 win against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League final on Saturday as they were crowned for the 15th time. Vinicius Jr., hero of their 14th title triumph in Paris 2 years ago on Saturday, became the first Brazilian to score in 2 Champions League finals. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Nipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.